Thomas, the tank engine, was in a hurry. He had a train full of goods to deliver to the other side of the island, and he was determined to get there as quickly as possible. He chugged along the tracks, his wheels clacking and his whistle blowing as he sped through the countryside. But as he approached a level crossing, he failed to see a lorry that was crossing the tracks. The lorry was moving slowly, but Thomas was going too fast to stop in time. Thomas's passengers were thrown about inside the train, and the lorry's driver was knocked unconscious. The crash was a mess, and both vehicles were badly damaged. As the other trains on the island rushed to the scene to help, Thomas sat still and silent, his smokestack smoking and his body dented and scratched. He knew he had made a mistake, and he felt terrible about it. "I'm so sorry," Thomas said, his voice shaking with regret. "I was in such a hurry. I didn't see the lorry. I should have been more careful." The other trains tried to comfort Thomas, but he couldn't shake the feeling of guilt. He knew he had caused a great deal of damage, and he didn't know how he would be able to make it right. As the day went on, Thomas's passengers were taken to the hospital to be treated for their injuries. The lorry driver was also taken to the hospital, where he remained in critical condition. Thomas, on the other hand, was left sitting at the scene of the crash, his engine smoking and his body battered. He knew he would have to face the consequences of his actions, and he wasn't sure what the future held for him. But as he sat there, he heard a voice behind him. It was the voice of the fat controller, the man in charge of the island's railways. "Thomas, what happened here?" the fat controller asked, his voice stern and serious. Thomas looked up at the fat controller, his eyes filled with tears. "I was in a hurry," he said, his voice shaking. "I didn't see the lorry. I'm so sorry." The fat controller sighed and put a hand on Thomas's shoulder. "I know you're sorry, Thomas," he said, "but you need to be more careful. You can't let your hurry cause accidents like this. Do you understand?" Thomas nodded, his eyes still filled with tears. "I understand," he said. "I'll be more careful from now on." The fat controller nodded and patted Thomas on the back. "Good," he said. "I'm glad to hear it. But for now, you need to go to the repair shop and get fixed up. You're in no condition to be pulling any more trains." Thomas nodded again and slowly made his way to the repair shop, his engine smoking and his body battered. He knew he had made a mistake, but he was determined to learn from it and be more careful in the future.